What is going on, YouTube? We are back after a long hiatus with an Amazon FBA Q&A. Any questions y'all have about selling on Amazon, drop them down below. We got the TikTok live here. We're going to get rocking and rolling. Do you hire pros to get picture your images for listings? I hire pros to create my Amazon listings, but not necessarily to take my pictures. That's only, you can hire people if you just want to kind of speed up the process. Hi, which product for a first product expect home and kitchen? Wait, what? Which category? Sorry, any category, Iman. If you find a product that meets the product criteria, that's your first product. So different names, address, etc. Amazon allows multiple accounts if it's justifiable. Yeah, but in most cases they won't consider it justifiable. That's the problem. I sold many products, but after ads and everything else, I'm always in the hole. Like I said, brother, there's a right way to do things and there is a wrong way to do things. That was actually, I kind of wish that I had guessed the things that you had done before you told me, because I would have said that. You probably threw up some ads. They're not converting well. If your ads aren't converting well, then you're going to lose money. If you lose money, then you sit and think that it's Amazon's problem or it's FBA's problem. I actually have a mentorship student. I won't dox exactly who, but I have a mentorship student who I just saw join the live right now. This student was in the beginning not getting the best sales that they wanted to achieve. They started to optimize their listing. They started to push for more reviews. And all of a sudden, what do you know? They start turning a profit, right? Now they had some issues with like returns and things like that, but that's a whole separate topic. If you're not converting, I've used this example many a times. Amazon ads are like a billboard. If you get clicks on your ads, even if they don't get sales, the ad did its job. There's this big misconception with people on what the purpose of ads are. People think, oh, I'm going to just turn on my Amazon ads and I'm going to become a millionaire after that because I'm getting clicks. I should get sales. Nope, that's not how it works. That's not how it works in any business. When Nike goes and launches an ad campaign, they're always testing new things. They don't expect the first thing that they do hit. In fact, companies like Nike and Netflix and Coca-Cola, they launch ad campaigns and those ad campaigns don't perform well. If you think that the multi-million and the multi-billion-dollar companies have a scenario where they launch something and it doesn't perform well, but then us as beginners, small little ants on the broad scale of business, are going to just launch something and it's going to hit and we're going to be this big company. If only it was that easy, right? Everybody who launched a product on Amazon would be a millionaire, but they're not. So you probably haven't made any adjustments to your listing. You probably haven't optimized your main image. If you have, maybe you did it once and then you called it a day. Let's get to these and then I'll get to your other question or statement, bro. And I'm not trying to pick on you either, and I'm not trying to sound rude either. I'm just giving you guys the harsh reality of business. Do you register your biz in each of the states, or one is good? One is good. I have 4 5-star reviews and my auto ads work, but when I use them in exact and phrase, I barely get one. You got to get more reviews, brother. 4 reviews is nothing. How many times have you guys bought a product at scale that only had 4 reviews? Maybe once, maybe twice, and probably never. Reviews are king on Amazon. Like I said, guys, I have actually prepped a lesson for my mentorship students this week. We had a lesson a few months, maybe a year ago, called 10Xing Your Business. 10X, one of my favorite books. In fact, guys, before you start a business, or if you're in the beginning stages of a business and you do not read this book, you do not study it like it's your study guide, you do not understand the concepts of this book, forget the author, because I know that's a very polarizing character. You have to read the information in this book. Most of you aren't even 1Xing your business, but you want to know what it takes to have a successful business? 10Xing your business. Put this right, we'll just keep it back here. I have this book. Thank you for the recommendation. Let's Go. Very hard. I'm still very beginner. It's all good, Iman. Product research is a numbers game. So at some point, let me zoom out here. At some point, you're going to figure out, at some point, just after looking at a lot of products, you're going to find a good product to launch. I don't know if I want to throw any more money into it after trying with a few products. Well, a few things on that, brother. Nobody's making you. That's the beauty of life. You have free will to do as you please. And again, I know this sounds harsh, or, oh, this guy's rude, or he doesn't care about anybody. No, I do care. That's the thing. That's why I'm giving you the harsh reality of business. A lot of sellers are going to sugarcoat things. A lot of creators are going to be like, no, it's this easy. No, guys, nothing in life is easy that's worthwhile, worth doing. If it was easy to get into the NFL, everybody would be in the NFL who played football. If it was easy to get into the MLB, everybody would. If it was easy to make a multi-billion-dollar company, everybody would be an Elon Musk. If it was easy to become president, everybody at some point would become president. Things are hard. Anything worthwhile, anything worth doing is hard. And that goes to my original point of business, being the CEO, being the owner of a business isn't for everybody. Social media chalks it up to be this, walk in the park, yellow brick road, flowers getting thrown as you're walking through, easy, lemon squeezy, but it's not. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have to figure out how to navigate those challenges. You're going to have to jump over obstacles. You're going to have days where you wish you quit. Or you want to quit, not wish you quit. You're going to have days where you want to quit. There's going to be days where you question whether you should have started this or not. There's going to be days where you get imposter syndrome, where you're like, am I really the one who's meant to own this business? And if you answer no to any of those questions, then it's okay. Like social media makes you believe you have to be the boss, you have to be the owner, you have to have a supercar, you have to do blah, 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 blah. Some of you guys maybe not meant to be the number one position of a company. You know what I mean? Maybe you guys are better at a number 2 spot of a company or a number 5 spot of a company. And there's nothing wrong with that. The number 7, the number 15 guy at Facebook or Meta now is still a multimillionaire. He's not no Mark Zuckerberg, but they still did well for themselves. And so that's another aspect of life. Social media skews reality. And that's what I really despise about like the Amazon seller game of social media. It skews reality a lot. Here you just do these 5 things and you're going to be making all this money on Amazon. No. A lot of people have failed products. I've had failed products. I've lost thousands of dollars. A year ago, I lost $40,000 worth of inventory to Amazon. Did I sit there and say, I'm not going to get through this obstacle, I'm going to quit, blah, 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 blah. No, you push past it. Any good entrepreneur is going to push past it. And I'm not giving you some foo-foo la-la motivation either. This is practical. Your ads aren't converting, optimize your main image. Maybe it converts a little better, but you want to get the conversion better, optimize your main image again. You only have 4 5-star reviews and your ads aren't working, go push for more reviews. I don't even run ads until I get 15 reviews. And even at 15 reviews, I still think that's a low spot. It's putting in the work, you guys. It's 10xing your business. I'm telling you. I'm going to read you guys this quote from a lesson that I did about a year ago, 10xing your Amazon business. Mentorship students who are in here this Thursday, we're doing part 2 of 10xing your Amazon business. It's going to be a great, great, great lesson. But 2 things. Ready for this? If you're willing to take credit when you win, you must be willing to take credit when you don't win. You have to take it to another level to get to the next level. Hear me again. You have to take it to another level to get to the next level. Anybody who thinks opening a restaurant is as simple as I'm going to put up a sign and I'm going to serve food and now I'm going to be the next McDonald's, you're wrong. Anybody who thinks that I'm going to throw up a product on Amazon, put in minimal effort, just throw up some ads and I'm going to be, hitting 10, 20, 100K a month, you're wrong. It doesn't work like that, you guys. 10x, probably one of my fave lessons. Pretty sure it was created before I joined. Yeah, it was January 2024 that we did that lesson. Jay, good to see you, by the way, one of the mentorship students in here. And yeah, we're going to do part 2 tomorrow, bro. So part 2 of 10xing your Amazon, or no, sorry, not tomorrow, Thursday. 10xing your Amazon business lesson. I put 10 in Vine, but they're taking forever. I've been iffy about super URLs. Don't use a super URL. Have your friends or family search the product keywords organically, allegedly, and have them purchase that way. Guys, when I started my Amazon business, and the reason, this is kind of why I say the things that I do, because when I started my journey, I firsthand, UNH, what's UNH, Richard? By the way, good to see you on the YT chat. When I first started my business, the examples that I had as my, you know what I mean? Like all of you guys might have, maybe I'm not the creator that you learned from for Amazon. That's okay. Maybe you have some creator that you see, you saw online. That's how you learned, blah, 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 blah. But that person, I almost can guarantee, was not at the same level mentally as the people that I saw every single day. They were the people who taught me how to sell on Amazon. They were the people who taught me how to build a brand. They were delusional. I made a video recently on my TikTok about be delusional. You're either obsessed or you're average. Be obsessed or be average. Another great book. But like when I knew that I needed reviews, my cousins told me that reviews were the most important thing. They didn't just talk about it. They were about it. I saw it firsthand. When they started their business, it was my cousin's 40th birthday, right? The big 4-0. It's a big deal to some people. I sat and saw how they were talking about going to Hawaii for the big 4-0. They were going to bring my mom, myself, a few other family members as well. And then they sat down and they were like, you know what, we're just starting. We're not just starting. They were already successful at this point, 6-figure sellers. But they sat down and they were like, you know what, no, we're not at the point that we want to be in right now. So instead of going to Hawaii for the big 4-0, they threw an Amazon review party. They had their sister, because at the time they were in an apartment, they had their sister host a party at their house. They invited everybody that they knew. We were able to invite friends of friends, just anybody and everybody was able to pull up. They didn't want anybody to pull up with a gift. You know what they did instead? They said, instead of buying a gift, instead of giving money, instead of, wasting all this stuff that we don't really care about, instead, everybody buy 1 to 2 products. Show up to the party, buy 1 to 2 of our products. They had them all lined out all over the house, and they had a little QR code so that you can scan it and go directly to the Amazon page. And they had all these products lined up. They had a decent roster at this time. And they had everybody go and buy products and leave a review. They had a review party for the big 4-0. That changed the trajectory of their business. They got like 100 reviews. Now, there was the caveat that a lot of people were under the same Wi-Fi, so some reviews didn't show up. But regardless, they pushed for reviews like mad men and women. It's a husband-wife duo. So they pushed for reviews, and that was what I saw firsthand. So when I launched my product, I was like, hey, getting reviews on Amazon is more important than celebrating your 40th birthday in Hawaii. That probably makes me believe that reviews are very necessary. So what did I do? Anybody and everybody that I knew, I asked for reviews. Some people who start an Amazon business are like, I'm scared. I don't want to leave a review. I don't want to ask somebody to leave me a review. My family doesn't support me, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Ask them. You guys ever hear the expression of, now I'm forgetting the expression. Hold on. Something about a quiet, hold on. Motivational quote about closed. Oh yeah, a closed mouth doesn't eat. That's the expression. A closed mouth doesn't get fed or doesn't eat, right? So some of you guys are like, oh, because of the fear of this or that happening, I'm not going to ask anybody for reviews, but the closed mouth doesn't get fed. You're not going to eat, son. You're in this hypothetical eating of success. You're not going to have a taste of success if you're too scared to go ask people for reviews. You're not going to get success if you're too scared or to go optimize your listing or to learn something or to push past adversity. Guys, it's not, I'm telling you, it's not rocket science. I'm not building no SpaceX when I'm selling products on Amazon. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not even building Amazon. I'm not no Jeff Bezos. It's really simple. It's not easy to own a business because again, you have to push past that adversity. But it's not rocket science. My little cousin figured out, he's 19, same age that I started. He's figuring out how to sell on Amazon. He just launched his first product and it's already successful. Why? Because he had the framework, he had the mentality that I've taught him throughout his entire journey. He's one of the mentorship students, and he saw firsthand what I would do. I was obsessed. I was obsessed when I started my business. I'm still obsessed. And there's a reason why I have a 70% success rate when I launch products on Amazon. No, Richard, I don't buy individual stocks, brother. Creator, thank you, or China, thank you so much for the follow. Yo, I'm 19, I got 40K in the bank, not self-made. I'm kind of lost and I don't know what I should do. Well, it depends, bro. What interests you? I mean, 40K at 19, I had like $200 saved up at 19. So you're further than I was at 19. And the cool thing is I was lost too at 19. So don't judge yourself for where you are now. You know, judge yourself for where you're going. Alex, thank you for sharing the live, bro. Hard facts. Yes, sir. Good to see you, Ecom. What is the minimum price you'd recommend for FBA? My highest price is 24. Maybe I'll try 40. Minimum $30. Go watch my videos on YT or on TikTok, bro. I go over the exact product criteria that I use. In fact, I would immerse yourself with my content because I would say that I keep it pretty real. And so you'll be able to get a good grasp on the strategies and everything that I do. I don't gatekeep any information, y'all. If you want a more in-depth guide, check out the AMZ Masterclass. But, you know, I know that's obviously a high ticket for a lot of people. Again, hold on. I know this is probably not ideal to pin, but I'm going to pin this. If you're 39K in debt because of Amazon, you are doing something so wrong and putting in such a minimal amount of effort, like for real, putting in such a minimal amount of effort, not doing the right strategies, that it's not Amazon's fault. Don't say me too, bro. FBA has put me 39K in debt. No, you put yourself 39K in debt. Simple as that. Ready for this? Hold on. I'm going to read this quote for you again, brother, because you might not have been in the live. If you're willing to take credit when you win, you must be willing to take credit when you don't win. Come on, guys. Like, you guys got to take accountability for things in life. There's no scapegoat. It's not Amazon ads' fault. It's not FBA's fault. It's not Jeff Bezos' fault. It is your fault. You chose to launch the products that you did. If you took out a line of credit and that's why you're in debt, you chose to do that. I bootstrapped it. I worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week because I was dead broke until I had enough money to start selling on Amazon. Stop trying to blame other people or your circumstances for your success, y'all. At 19 years old, I had gotten kicked out of, or not kicked out, I left my house because of some family drama. I had no, and when I say this, I've said it so many times that some of you are like, oh yeah, that's a cute story. I don't think you understand how mentally in the hole I was during this time. I left home because of some family drama. I couldn't go sleep in the bed that I grew up in. I was sleeping on my best friend's couch. I didn't have a car. If anybody lives in America, you know that we don't have good public transport. You need a car to get around. I wasn't going to there was no taking the bus anywhere. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a license. I was a little 19-year-old addict to, you know, some stupid vices. I was partying. I was going to the raves. I was trying to cope with what was going on in my life. Do you think I sat there and said, oh, this is the reason why I can't be successful? I'm not destined to be successful. It's FBA's fault. It's my parents' fault. It's my family's fault because of this. Boom, 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 boom. I didn't grow up rich. My mom was a single mom. She gave up her career so that I, you know, to pretty much help raise me. She wanted to be, she wanted to go into, what's the word? Criminal, I'm blanking on it. Criminal investigation or whatever. But she had a stable job, right? And so she stayed at the job, single mom. All of the world was against me. I wasn't an A+ student. I wasn't going to college. I didn't have good grades in school. Like literally every single statistic that should have been stacked against me. Did I sit there and say, oh, it's this person's fault. It's this scenario's fault. I'm just, because of where I am in life, I'm not meant to be successful. That's nonsense. Absolute bollocks. How is inventory right now with tariffs? It's going great, Kai. It's been a non-factor to me. Literally the smallest problem or obstacle that I've ever faced in my 6 years. Brother, again, it didn't ruin your life. You ruined your life. Simple as that, bro. Take accountability. People got to know FBA can ruin their life. People got to know that FBA can change your life for the better. I'm in an apartment that costs more than most people make in a month. I get to travel the world. I work 4 to 6 hours a week on my Amazon business. Your circumstances that you're using as a negative were my positive circumstances, bro. So whose fault is it? FBA? Jeff Bezos? No, it's your fault. Simple as that. Take accountability, or you'll probably add another 36K in debt to whatever else you do in life. I know that sounds harsh. Oh my gosh, how can Luke say that? He's so mean. He's not nice, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just the reality of life, you guys. Simple as that. And when I hear people with that like literally, bro, just hearing your mentality, that's why you didn't win. You want to blame FBA, but I bet you launched terrible products. I bet you didn't optimize your products. I bet you didn't push for reviews. I bet you didn't take the time to learn PPC ads. I bet you didn't have a good ad strategy. All of the things that you didn't do is your fault. I'm telling you guys, like the comments like that you make say more about you than the business model or FBA, because you're literally in a live, like with my boy Airstick right here, right? Or if he's still in the live, my boy Jay, you're literally in a live with people who have found success in Amazon. You do private label? I do. Is the new release ban on Amazon is good? Is good with less reviews, less search volume? What do you mean by that, Nawaz? Can you elaborate? Like you got it on Amazon with less reviews? Regardless, if you get the #1 new release badge, that's great. Luke, it's your fault I'm in debt. Get out of here, brother. You're a 7-figure Amazon seller. People just have to play with the cards that you were dealt and not have a victim mindset. 100%, bro. There's too many victims out there. And they'll never be successful. Simple as that. I know it sounds mean. Again, I know it sounds harsh. I'm such a mean guy. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, too many victim mindsets. People want to blame. I actually literally just made a video about this. It's on my new YouTube video. People want to blame the president. People want to blame the government. People want to blame the rich CEOs or the billionaires or whatever for their problems in life. That's bollocks. I've created my own bubble in life. None of that stuff affects me. It could have been Kamala. It could have been Trump. I was going to win. Joe Biden or Trump. I was going to win. It could be I live in California, live in Wisconsin. I was going to win. God's plan, son. You can't stop God's plan. When I tell you guys that business is more mindset than anything else, this is literally what I'm talking about. I'm new to FBA. I'm doing all my due diligence and learning so that I can be successful. Gabrielle, God bless you. Stick to the fundamentals. When you launch a product, push for those reviews. If you're not converting for some reason, optimize your main image. Let me actually show you guys this post. Hold on. Let's go to the Facebook group. Let's show how bad FBA is. Oh man. I'm telling you guys, it's there's victims and there's those who will win regardless. Let me show you somebody who will win regardless. Alex, I know you're joking, brother, but there's people who would literally think you're serious because, again, victim mentality. But God bless you, Alex. Alex always in the live supporting. Airstick always in the live supporting. Ready for this? So look. Again, some of you guys want to have a victim mentality. So this is one of my mentorship students. I wanted to get, wait, hold on. Let's get the pointer out. Hold on. We have the famous pointer now that we started using yesterday. Okay. I wanted to give an update on my product. All I can say is it's going pretty great. Oh man, FBA's fault. FBA is so bad. 30K in revenue, just started selling on Amazon last year. Anyways, here are some current stats. Margins 30%, ACoS 14%, tacos 11%. I still very much consider myself a beginner at this stuff, but I want to give credit to something that has got me to this point. It would be testing everything, something that I 110% guarantee the two people who were talking nonsense about how they weren't performing well on Amazon didn't do. 110%. I can guarantee that. So I highly recommend testing everything possible. Main image, probably most important. Bullet points, title, other images, everything you can. Amazon in-house experiment system is actually quite good. Thank you to everyone in this group. I appreciate how helpful everyone is, just in general knowledge shared in here. 50K next month. Let's show one more. Here's another student. Ready? Just started this account in December. Had some inventory issues, but just got back up and running. Just one product in 3 variations. So not too bad, although ACoS is a bit high. We're helping him dial that in. Launching 2 to 3 higher ticket products this upcoming months. So it should crank. Wish you all the best with your journeys. For every single person who says that, oh, I didn't do this right on Amazon, I didn't do this right on Amazon, I can show you 2 people who did right. Did the right thing and are crushing it on Amazon. That Facebook group is exclusive to my mentorship students, y'all. Everybody who's not in the program gets denied from the group. So yeah, man, like I said, it's all about mindset. Simple as that. Bro, always going to blame others, can't fix it. Yeah, you can't teach actually you can teach an old dog new tricks, but you can't teach a dog who's not willing to learn new tricks. Luke, I'm going to send you an invoice. Nice. Can I send you an invoice when you crush it, Alex? Just playing. Let's go. I know I just went on a whole rant right there. Private label, yes, Dennis. It's in the YT chat. I do private label. Do variation listings boost each other? Variation by every single sale? Yes, they're all going to be in like grouped together. Hey, I build AIs. No, I'm not interested. Unknown. Thank you, brother. I got somebody who does anything that I need for AI, but I appreciate you. Bro, please tell me the best category in the UAE to start with. Every product category has good products, you guys. Every product category. Home and kitchen, office products, baby products, toys and games, tools, home and improvement, sports and outdoors. Every product category has good products in there. There's no such thing as the best, because the categories that perform best for me don't perform best for other people. They have other categories that perform better for them. It's all about finding a good product with good product criteria. Guys, the biggest piece of advice that I can give y'all is don't have a victim mentality. Read the 10X rule. I do private label comedy. I think wholesale is a waste of time. Not that you can't make money on it. People crush it with wholesale, but it's not the business model for me. It doesn't fit my lifestyle. But yeah, read the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. Again, you guys need to like separate what you might hear on the internet from the information that somebody may give. I know he's a very polarizing character. I'm not even defending him or anything like that. But I like the book. That book, the 10X rule, has helped me make more money than any book that I've ever read in my life. So most people, like I said, are not even 1Xing their business. They put in the bare minimum effort, right? Think that, oh, I'm just going to go hire a consultant and now I should be rich. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to put in the work, bro. No consultant maybe they'll give you the right advice, but even if you pay $100,000 for consulting, and you don't do any the things that the consultant have told you to do, then it was a waste of time. If you want to order a product, how much units should you order? 100 to 300 units. When I source multiple products for a bundle, do I send multiple products to the main supplier to pack them together? Yes, sir. That is correct. You want to make sure that they're packed together for sure. You're not going to send, you're not going to send this piece of the product and then this piece of the product to Amazon and then expect them to package it. And it's going to be most efficient if you send it for the main product, right? So like if you selling a water bottle and then you have like bonus item straws that for some reason your main manufacturer doesn't manufacture, you wouldn't want to send the water bottle to the straw manufacturer. You'd want to send the straws to the water bottle manufacturer. Is having 50 to 100 reviews around 4.5 stars or above good enough to compete against products that have 500 to 1,000 reviews? Yes, I do think so. As long as you have a good differentiator, Dark. This is a question in the YT live, you guys. But as long as you have a good differentiator for your product, and as long as you are continuously optimizing your product listing, we have multiple products that have less reviews than our competitors, but outperform our competitors. Why? Because we convert better and we have a better PPC ad strategy. How much active listings do you have? 40 plus, including variations. Variations being like a black water bottle, a red water bottle of the same design and everything like that. Thanks for the feedback. Of course, Dark, wishing you Godspeed on your journey. You could just tell a lot of times from having a conversation with someone or like from some people's comments. And I don't want anyone to think asking questions makes me believe someone won't be successful. But when people say certain things, you can just tell from their mindset who's going to win and who's not going to win selling on Amazon. Sometimes I get surprised both ways, right? But generally I can almost tell. And yeah, those of you who are abiding by the fundamentals, following the steps, pushing, you're willing to do anything ethically to get your business to the next level, I'm almost certain that y'all will win. Maybe it won't be your first product, maybe it won't be your second product, but at some point, as long as you are resilient, you will win. Can I send you a market and let me know what you think of it live? Antonio, I only do that for my mentorship students, brother, unless you are one of the mentorship students. I don't remember. But yeah, I only do that for mentorship students. One of the perks of being in the AMZ Masterclass, unlimited product validations. We have a nice little template. You send me over the numbers and I'll let you know about any product that you launch. Other than that, I have lots of videos going over exactly to a T how I analyze a product on Amazon, whether it's good or not. So you guys can just follow along step by step for those videos and see for yourself whether it is good or not. I have videos on the product criteria that I use, as well as how to analyze a product. How old were you when you started FBA? I was 19 years old, about to turn 20 4 months later, because I started January of 2019. My birthday's in April, and I am currently 26 years old. So a little over 6 years I've been selling on Amazon now. About 6 years and 5 months been selling on Amazon. 26 years young, yes sir. Yes, sir. Closer to 30 than I've ever been. But thank God. Thank God. Thank God for life. Thank God for every year that I'm on this beautiful earth. Thank God for my health. Thank God for everything. Yes, sir. That's a great, bro. I wish I started sooner, but still glad I started when I did. There you go, Dark. That's the mindset to have, bro. I know people who think about this, guys. My cousins started Amazon when they were 40 years old. 40. And they're crushing it now. They were the ones who taught me everything that I knew to a certain point on how to sell on Amazon. It's never too late. It really is never too late. And the beauty about e-commerce is e-commerce doesn't care how old you are, what you look like, what race you are, what hair color you have, your beliefs, none of those. I'm excited for the new product, brother. Fired up after tariffs are basically gone. Yes, sir. Jeff, one of the mentorship students. Also, bro, shoot me a message. I'm just getting back in the swing of things, but shoot me a message and we'll get locked in. I'm in a different group, but I've met you in Orange County at a mastermind. Luke's the man. Appreciate you, brother. Let's go. Yeah, I've spoken at a mastermind for another program a couple times before. Have any suppliers ripped off your design and sell it to others? I have to pay a mold fee. Yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons why we went so hard against China and their tariffs. They don't play by the rules. But it has happened. What age did FBA actually pick up for you? And you said this is it. Bro, I got one order on Amazon and I was off to the races, son. I started January 1st, 2019. That's when I got my very first sale. And within 1 month, I knew that this was going to be the thing that changed my life. At 1 month in, 10K in top line revenue, profitably. I had gotten the #1 bestseller badge. I've made lots of videos showing you guys the #1 bestseller badge on the first product that I got. I knew that it was God's plan. This is God's plan, homie. It ain't mine. It took me a year for it to be, something that I did full time. Didn't have a job or anything like that. So I want to order the product selection from you next week. Super excited. Let's go, Ben. Ben, another one of the mentorship students up in here. One more thing that I got to say, not that anybody asked, and we block out the negativity. That rant that I was going on, that wasn't negative. That was actually very positive. I want these guys to get in a good mindset. But it's funny how people who aren't in the program or who have never watched my content or something like that, the casuals on social media, they'll come in and be like, scam. But then my mentorship students who paid for my program are up in my lives every single day. So Such a big scam, huh? If they're still continuing to watch the content, crush it on Amazon, and continue to learn from me. Hey, Luke, what up? What up? Jay, do you think only selling on Amazon CA is good? I would sell in the US market, honestly. It's the biggest market. It's the most amount of customers. It's the most fulfillment centers. It's the most revenue generated. I want to be in the place where a majority of people are winning. Not a majority of people are winning. Let me rephrase that. Where a majority of the customers are. I don't think Amazon Canada is a bad market by any means. It's a great market, but I'd want to be positioned where, again, the most amount of customers were. Let's go. Man, we went on a rant. Amazon, got another YT comment. Amazon is something we should learn in school, but everything else we learn is such a waste of time. Doesn't teach anything related to the real world. Man, I have a video on YT about this, like what school never taught you about money but should have. I left high school and it was such a weird thing, man. Like I remember thinking that like the kids who were the honors kids and they got super good grades in school. Like I thought everyone thought those kids were going to be the successful ones, but it didn't gear them for real life. If anything, most of those kids went to a good college and partied half their youth away. Their early teens and their early 20s, just partied it away. I left school not understanding taxes, not understanding cash flow. I didn't even know how to write a check till I was like 20 something years old. So many things that we should have learned. And the thing about school, I think education is the most important thing in the world, right? But not the education system. It's actually quite a scam, if you ask me. College, you learn from professors in a field where you're supposed to learn to be an expert, but these people aren't even experts, right? Meanwhile, on the internet, somebody who is an expert, that's a scam, who's teaching them. But then somebody who's never done the thing that you want to learn about in school, that's legit because they have a degree or whatever. Makes zero sense. I've told this story before, but my little cousin was going to CBU. It cost $40,000 a year to go to that school. And he's getting his major in like business and marketing. He was the very first employee that I hired. Not because I needed an employee, but mainly kind of like it was my version of giving back. My cousins hired me. Had it not been for that, I wouldn't be in the position that I am today. Funny enough, that little cousin kind of like shifted away from business. I tried to, mold him and get him in the right mindset. But his little brother is the cousin that I was just mentioning, who is in the mentorship and just launched a successful product on Amazon. But yeah, he was telling me I've learned more about business in the last 2 weeks than I did the last 2 years in school. And I asked him, I was like, hey, has your college professor who's teaching you guys how to start a business ever started a business? He's like, I don't know. Let me go ask. So the next day he goes and asks. He comes back from school to come to work with me that day. He's like, nope, my professor never started a business. And then, yeah, just school is, I don't know. And then there's the statistic that 40+%, or maybe it's 50+% of people who get a college degree don't even use that degree in real life, which is like, then why get a degree? Like I said, college is mainly like you could do really good by college with like networking and stuff like that. Or if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, definitely go to school. I don't want my doctor to have learned from YouTube University or TikTok University. But outside of that, I don't really think it. If anything, these guys, they know more of the business terminology than I do. Like EBITDA, I didn't learn what EBITDA was until years after I started a business. These guys know all the terms, but what does knowing those terms do for you if you don't actually know how to start a business, son? Was the professor always uncertain of taking risks? Probably, man. I mean, he went the safe route. He went and got his degree in teaching, taught people how to start a business, and that's how he made a living. Now, I do respect the professors out there who, like, they did go start a successful business, but this is maybe 10% of them who did go start a successful business, and now they just want to reinvest back into the youth. I can respect that for sure. because like I said, education is very important. I'm not saying learning things isn't important, but what you learn is. Thoughts on Amazon OA. It's not for me. People make money on it, but it's not for me. What is top of search? Product pages, rest of search. I always be on top of search. So let me show you guys. I'll give you guys a visual representation here, just so you can see. Those are the placements that your ads pop up on Amazon. Hold on, let me close out all these tabs so that I can show this on YT as well. Sorry, YT, I want to show you guys some love as well. So let's get this going. We'll do a screen share. There we go. Y'all can see me, right? The screen's not dark. You can see me. You can see me. YT, not TikTok. Don't worry. We're going to flip the camera here right now. Let's get our trusty sword pointer. Okay, so we search water bottle on Amazon. We're going to scroll down here. This is sponsored ads, but these are sponsored brand ads. This is not considered top of search. Now, our first results right here, like I said, we just don't have time for the negativity today. There's people in here who want to learn. So right here, sponsored, 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 sponsored. This is top of search, okay? And then when we scroll down here, so these are organic, not sponsored, not sponsored, not sponsored, not sponsored, not sponsored. Those are organic. This is a video ad, sponsored brand. And then we have sponsored, 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 sponsored. This would be considered rest of search, anything that's not top of search. And then let's go here. When we click on a product detail page, this is a product page, you guys. We scroll down. Similar products. I know this might seem like Amazon's recommendation, but these are actually ads. Sponsored, 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 sponsored. That is product pages. So it's the placements in which your ads appear on Amazon. It is very important to understand where your ads appear on Amazon. What's your margins on your product? Average profit margin, 36%. On this account, 40%. How do you deal with a lack of motivation? When you learn that motivation is fake and that you shouldn't live your life based on when you're motivated, that's how you deal with it. Let me expand on that, Darius. I used to play high school football. I wasn't very good at football. My sport that I was good at was track and field, long jump. I remember during Hell Week, in my early years of football, right before Hell Week, I would listen to some Ray Lewis motivational videos. I would get hyped up. At that point, I always just wanted to be rich. So these things were never my dreams, but I was like, I'm going to go to college and play football for USC or one of these big colleges. I wasn't good enough to do that. I was also really scrawny back then. But I would listen to this Ray Lewis motivational talk. I would get all pumped up. Yeah, let's go. I'm ready to be the best. And then I would get to Hell Week and I'd have to run and I'd be like, yo, I hate this. I want to quit, because that motivational thought was fleeting, right? You can't live life based on motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Now, how do you deal with it? You have to do the work even when you are not motivated. So I just talked to you guys about the 10X rule. This was the very first book that I read, fiction book that I read when I was 17 years old. I got made fun of for reading this because all my boys were partying and, indulging in the devil's lettuce and all of that stuff, the reefer. And they'd be like, yo, Luke, are you coming out today? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm reading this book. This was before I had my ish together, right? But still, the concept of this book talks about two things, the muse and the resistance. The muse is that voice in your head, and you can attribute this to God and the devil if you're religious. But the muse is that voice in your head that's like, yo, go start that business, go to the gym, eat right, be the best version of yourself. Like when you get this idea and it's just this gnawing idea in your head, you're like, I have to do this. I have to do this. That's the muse. The resistance is quite literally the opposite. It is trying to destroy you. It tells you, no, you don't have to do that today. You can do it tomorrow. You don't have to be successful. You're doing fine where you are right now in life. Oh, don't do this, don't do that. This is an endless battle. Every day, even the position that I'm in today, the resistance tries to destroy me every single day. Now, in this book, it's a very short read, by the way. Like, the words are very big. You could probably read this in a couple days, depending on how much time you dedicate to it. It's what, and if you listen to the audiobook, you can listen to it in one day. I listen to everything at 2x speed nowadays, just so I can get through them quicker, still retain the information. But anyways, this is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, not to get confused with The Art of War, which is a war strategy book, but also a very good book. Now, what it talks about in this book, it's talking about the perspective of a writer, right? A writer who has a grandiose idea of being a best-selling author and et cetera, and they sit down and they don't feel like writing, or the ideas aren't flowing to them. And so, to give you a short summary of how to navigate, you have to sit down every single day, whether you feel motivated or not, because remember, motivation is a fleeting feeling. You have to sit down every single day. I don't care if you don't have an idea on what to do. I don't care if you aren't feeling it that day. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you're sick. Doesn't matter. You take a dedicated time every single day, and you sit down. So in the perspective of a writer, you don't know what to write that day? Okay, cool. You sit down with your pen and paper. If you have 4 hours blocked out for writing that day, I don't care if you sit there for 4 hours and don't write a single word. You sit there, right? Because at some point, the muse is going to see that you're trying to put in the work, and the muse is going to start flowing these ideas to you, okay? And it's the same thing in business. Do you know how many days, again, even to this day, that I don't feel like working? Great example. Today, I'm jet lagged like a mofo. Super jet lagged. I was like, man, I don't want to do anything today. You know, I could use the excuse of, hey, I was just traveling. I'm jet lagged. I was on a long flight. I'm tired right now. I don't need to work. But I'm like, hey, there's things that need to get done, so I'm going to do them. Another thing that I really love, 2 things, is power list. This was a concept from an entrepreneur called Andy Frisella, and I have adopted it for myself. Write down, he talks about how he's a very lazy person. He created a multi-$100 million supplement company, First Form, if anyone's ever heard of it. Every single day, you write down 3 things. For me, I do 7 nowadays, just because I'm glitched in the head, so I love working. But I do 7. Start small. If you have to start with 1, by all means, because like same thing with the gym. You're not going to be a new time gym goer, put 2 plates on the bar and try to rep out 225. No, you're going to start small. You're going to maybe start with 10 pounds. When I first started lifting, you guys, I struggled with the bar, the 45-pound bar. That's how small I used to be. And so you start with 1 thing. I would recommend 3, but if 3 is going to rock you off the boat to where you're going to just start with 3 and then do 0 the rest of the days, don't do that. 1 to 3 things every single day. Non-negotiable. I do not go to sleep until these things get done. Now, if it takes you 10 hours to do those 3 things, then guess what? You're going to work for 10 hours that day. If it takes you 2 hours to do those 3 things every day, then awesome. And a power list is not, I got to brush my teeth, I got to walk my dog, I got to go to the grocery store. No, it's things that are going to propel you in business. Today, I'm going to sit down and look at 50 products for product research. Today, I'm going to sit down and watch 2 hours of Amazon PPC ad strategy videos. Today, I'm going to contact 10 to 20 manufacturers. Again, if you can get that done in a few hours, awesome. Then you're done for the day. Go watch TV, go chill by the pool, go watch Netflix. Doesn't matter. At least you're moving the ball forward. But most people, they get so caught up in, I have to start the business, launch the product, differentiate the product, find a manufacturer, learn PPC ads, become an expert, have 20 reviews all in 1 day. Okay, well, you're setting yourself up for failure. At that point, be realistic with the things. And then another thing that I recommend everybody do, I got this one from Grant as well. I know, hate him or love him, but he's helped me make quite a lot of money in my life, indirectly. But write your goals down every day. Don't type them on your phone. Write them. Get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil or a marker, I don't care, and write your goals down every day. But here's the key. Write them down as if you have already achieved them. Let me see. Do I have them here? Hold on. I usually have pulled these out on live because I've saved every single notebook where I wrote my goals down. Yep, here we go. Got this dusty old notebook right here. Beat up. This is, I have, so look really quickly, just so you guys can get an idea, all the way down. Oh, it's so flimsy. Hold on. So flimsy, but pages of this. So let's read some of them. I have paid off my mom's debt. I grow closer to God every day. I live in Newport Beach. My net worth is $100 million. I grew blank. Actually, can I just show you guys this? Yeah, I can show you guys. Oh, no, hold on. Let me cross this out. I don't want to show any of my old brand names. Hold on. I'll show you guys right now. Make sure. And let's knock this one off too, and then I'll show you guys. Okay. I also realize it's backwards, but anyways, I have paid off my mom's debt. I grow closer to God every day. I live in Newport Beach. My net worth equals $100 million. I grew blank to a multi-million-dollar company. I grew blank into a multi-million-dollar company. These are two different brands. My first brand that I ever started, second brand that I ever started. I sold blank to Nike, which I didn't get that one. I am happier and healthier than ever. And then look at this. Next day. Oh, wait. There we go. Hold on. Cross this up too. There we go. I have paid off my mom every day. Every day. I wrote the same goals. I have paid off my mom. And this grew, some things got knocked off the list. Some things got added to the list. So a lot of this, then I was sitting in my very first apartment that I ever got. I remember getting a little bit emotional. Actually, the first time I pulled out this list, it was on live. I almost got a little bit emotional on the live as well because I'm reading it. It was actually a bigger list than that one. It was one of my earlier ones. Let's see if, yeah, this is one of the later ones that I had. But heavily redacted sheet ends up showing just a blank page. Does it? Is it just a blank page? Anyways, wrote those goals down every single day, and I got a little emotional one day because I'm like, oh man, the things that I prayed for, the things that I wrote down every single day, a lot of them became realities. I just make a list of notes and try my best to get them done the same day. I would stick with the power list, man. It's a non-negotiable. You don't need to do 20 things. 3 things every day. I do not go to sleep until these things get done. Oh, just a joke. No worries, no worries. When I buy off Alibaba, how do I get it shipped to Amazon? Create a shipment on Amazon, and then it'll tell you what warehouses your product will be sent to, and then you can send those labels to your manufacturer. What's the recommended amount of capital to start FBA? 3 to 6K USD. On that note, everybody, it was a great live. Make sure you guys go show some love to my last few videos. And if you guys like the lives, like the videos, and want to have me as your mentor, make sure you check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship Program. Mentorship students, we have a fire call this week. I have videos on how to do it on my page, Zach. Go check those out on my TikTok, how to create a shipment. But make sure you guys go check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship Program in the TikTok bio, the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label education. You guys will be able to reach out to me directly, have all of my exact tips and strategies and everything that I've built for my students, like the weekly group coaching calls that we have, which our next call is Thursday. Students, stay tuned. Make sure you guys are at that call because it is going to be a good one. God bless you all. Have a great night. I love you, YouTube. I love you, TikTok. Y'all are amazing. See you tomorrow.